My name is Dina Salim.
Okay. What is your job?
I'm a software developer. Coronavirus is a very infectious virus. Viruses are not alive by nature, but once they are in touch with a human being, then they start to become alive and make the person sick.
My name is Hazam Rashid.
Okay, what is your job?
So I work as accountant, a CPA. Shelter-in place is to stay where you are and don't congregate or mingle with other people.
So before we had the shelter in place, I was already distancing myself a little. We were being careful. We had sanitizers and stuff, but we were still not 100% there.
So the shelter-in place slightly affected my life because I can work from home, but I don't see people as much as I used to in the office.
I don't think the shelter in place has changed my life much since I work from home most of the time. However, I see my daughter a lot more and I really enjoy that. And last weekend we spent 2 days baking. That was a lot of fun. So she's getting ready to go to college and I'm gonna miss her. So that gives me some quality time with my daughter.
What do I do when I have extra time? I go walking and I listen to some of the YouTube channels or read a book. So that's what I'm doing.
I don't see my friends as much as I used to, so it's kind of lonely.
No, in terms of work, so I used to work with other people in different countries. So I use Zoom in all the communication. So in terms of scheduling conferencing or exchanging documents between people, I used to do it. But now it's like 100% of the communication is done on Zoom or phone.
So I haven't had an experience close to the coronavirus shelter in place. However, back in '85, when I was living in Egypt, there was some demonstrations from the army, and there was a curfew, and so we were stuck at home for, actually I can't remember how long.
So experience similar to coronavirus, the closest I can think of is the war in Egypt. So there was war in 1973 and I was probably seven or 8 years old, and people were not allowed to go out during when there's like a battle or something going on, and we had to turn off the light and shelter in place. Yeah, so what do I think about the hysteria surrounding the coronavirus? So there is many theories that's coming out because of the coronavirus. Some of it is religious, is just like God is punishing people. Some of it is technological. People would say the 5G is affecting the coronavirus is spreading because of the 5G, which is the telecommunication Wi-Fi. And this kind of theories comes up when people don't know what's going on. So the unknown creates this kind of fear and this kind of apocalyptic theories.
When people panic, they actually create the problems. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Issue could have been mitigated. So we've seen the SARS before in China a few years ago, and we've seen the Ebola in Africa, and the epidemic is happening over and over again, and we didn't do much about it. In 2015, Bill Gates came out and says we have to be ready and we have to do something about epidemic and pandemics, and we didn't do enough. So we had the news, we know what we should have done, but we didn't do anything.
These new estimates do not diminish my optimism. I think a lot of good things are going to come out of it, actually. A lot of people are going to learn to work well from home. Hopefully there will be less commute, there will be less pollution. A lot of people are doing, are starting to appreciate nature, they're starting to appreciate family life. I feel that people are connecting on a personal level much more. Society, once this blows over, is going to be more appreciative of the human touch. Some of the small things that we used to take for granted. Just being able to, socialize with your neighbor without having to worry. Being able to greet people on the street without, worrying that they're going to transmit something to you. All the small things. Now, I think people are looking for every small thing to make them hopeful, and I think that's making us all more aware of, living in the moment, essentially.